Okay, guys, I'm so excited. I'm out of words. Just let me welcome you to the 2023 Nissan Z. It is finally here with us, and this particular episode is dedicated to the differences among the three editions that we've got. So, we are getting the sport model, which is the first trim, the base trim. We're getting the performance and the special edition, which is the Proto Z Spec. Right, so we're just going to highlight a few of the areas that sets each of these apart so you know which of them to go after when it's due. Okay, so where do I start? The icon is back and it sports a new twin turbo V6 engine. It's also got an upgraded interior and a styling that is nearly identical to the Z prototype concept that we've seen and spoken about and reviewed on all platforms. Okay, so let's get down to the real deal, the big deal here. Okay, so the Nissan Z comes in two flavors at launch, which is the Sport and the Performance, but we've got the special Proto Spec option on the top end model that draws inspiration from last year's well-received concept. Okay, now on all the models, the Z Proto's pointed nose, squared off grille, and a retro LED light fixtures carry over, as do the details on the rear end also. Now, a black partition extends the length of the bumper as you're looking at, housing the horizontal LED tail lights underneath, and a gloss black diffuser surrounds the dual exhaust tips. Performance models feature a very subtle rear spoiler as well. So take a good look at the images behind you, and I'm sure you will understand what I'm talking about. So that is what it is when it comes to the trims. But let's get down to what sets them apart, and let's start with the wheels. Now, on the base sport model, it wears an 18-inch wheel, and the performance trim borrows its 19-inch range from the Z Proto, while the Nissan offers 9 exterior colors at launch. You lovely buyers can select from 6 two-tone paint jobs, each with a contrasting black roof. So let me just lay the colors out, and forgive me if I don't get the pronunciations correctly. So we've got the brilliant silver, we've got the boulder gray, the Syrian blue, the Ikazuchi yellow, the passion red, and the Everest white. Okay, if you're not interested in dual tone, you can also look at Nissan's offering of 3 single tone paint jobs, which is the black diamond, the gun metallic, and then the rosewood metallic. Quite an interesting option for you, but I'm sure you took note of the rim and the wheel differences. Okay, again, let's dash into the cabin and let's see if we can spot anything that sets these trims apart. So the cabin blends modern technology and comfort with classic cues. We've seen that in the concept vehicle way back. Okay, so there is the bucket seats that mimic those found in the GTR supercar. I'm sure you are aware, with a standard black cloth or leather available on the performance trim. The center stack, yes, you've seen that in the concept vehicle, features a dash-mounted cluster of analog gauges inspired by the Datsun 240Z in the United States, with readouts for turbocharger boost, turbocharger turbine speed, and a voltmeter. And then again, in front and center sits a standard 8.0-inch touchscreen display, while a larger 9.0-inch touchscreen with navigation and Wi-Fi is available on the performance trim. Okay, so between the sport and the performance, that is what it is. But let's go down to what sets these two also apart from the Proto Spec. So the Proto Spec edition, which is 240 in number, features a unique element on the exterior to tie it visually to the concept car, like yellow colored brake calipers and bronze 19-inch raised wheels, while the cabin dons a Proto Spec leather with yellow accents and suede insets. Again, just as you're seeing from your screen, Nissan is limiting the Z prototype spec to just 240 examples, and the vehicle is taking inspiration from the 240Z Datsun. So we know what they're doing. Now, in the United States, exclusively 240, and it's available exclusively as an option on the performance trim. Okay, so if you're interested in the Proto Spec, it is on the performance trim. Right. Now let's talk peak performance, and you've got, just as stated, a twin turbo 3.0 liter V6 direct injection engine that powers the new Z and is good for a mighty 400 horsepower that translates to 298 kilowatts and 350 pound-feet of torque. That's about 475 Newton meters of torque sent exclusively to the rear wheels. These numbers represent an improvement of 68 horsepower and 80 pound-feet of torque over the outgoing 370Z. Okay, and Nissan is being quiet about the 0 to 60 timing. The company says that this new version should be about 15% quicker than the vehicle that is replacing. By mathematics, if it's correct, that puts it in a higher 4 seconds mark thereabout. Okay, a quick move on to the transmission. So let's see if there are anything in a transmission that sets these vehicles apart. So there's a 6-speed manual, which is standard transmission, and it pairs with a high performance clutch baked in rev margin and even a launch control system on the performance model. Launch control and rev margin also carry over to the optional 9-speed automatic transmission, as there's a limited slip differential. The performance models also get aluminum paddle shifters inspired by the supercar GTR. Okay, so between the two vehicles, that is how it stands. And if you want to opt for a 6-speed or a 9-speed automatic, you've got rev margin. Okay, so the performance model also gets aluminum paddle shifters, as we have already stated. And although the new Z platform itself is essentially a carryover from the 370Z, Nissan improved its structural rigidity, tweaked the suspension, and added electronic power steering with what the company promises is a strong mechanical feel, and fitted both trims with wider front tires. So this is how it stands. The base 18-inch wheel wears a Yokohama Advanced Sport tires measuring in at 248 by 45 all round, while the 19-inch wheel on the performance model features a Bridgestone Potenza S007 tires at 255 by 40 front and 275 by 35 rear. The increase in grip improves cornering J's by up to 13 good percent, and that is noticeable and considerable. Okay, trying to wrap the whole differences up. Along with all that performance, Nissan added some safety equipment in the mix. So what are they? Now, the Z offers standard automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, blind spot warning, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, and rear cross traffic alert on the Nissan Z and the trims. But you're wondering when and how much it's going to cost you, right? Well, Nissan has not spilled the beans yet. However, we expect and project that the starting price for the base Model Z Sport will hover around 34,000 to 36,000 US dollars range, topping up at 40,000 thereabout for the top end models. The new sports car will go on sale sometime early in 2022. Okay, so this is the good news. I'm so excited sharing it with you. I hope it helps you and it aids you to be able to decipher which of the trims you are going for and how much you have to budget against, right? So thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Until we meet same time again. Bye bye.